This is Jordan Tower with JT News. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. All right. So I already hear everybody talking about, Drake dropped 3 albums last night to get out of his deal. I'm pretty sure. I think Iceman was his last obligation, and he was in for a new negotiation after that. I remember it was like a 4-album deal. He did like 2 albums one year, another album. This was the 4th album. For All the Dogs, he had the album with 21 Savage. He had that like electronic album with Gordo. And then he had this album. 4 albums, okay? So, he was up for another negotiation. But in order for, I'm sure some mediation has happened with Universal. They're not on good terms. And maybe he negotiated 2 one-offs at the same time. We don't know. We'll know later, right? But maybe Universal was like, all right, you can't release music for like a certain amount of time after you leave a label. But if you say, okay, I'll give you 2 more for this, that's tempting for a label because, first of all, rap hasn't even been charting for the past couple months. It hasn't even been charting in the top, top 10. It hasn't been in the top 10. Nobody's dropping anything good. J. Cole didn't enter. I mean, this is bad. A shift happened. And it's not good. So, really, they're like, all right, fine. Yeah, let's do 2 one-offs. But we got to drop them all the same night. Drake wanted out. He's done. I bet you he's able to release music. They're going to want to let this breathe a little bit. I bet you he can release music around Christmas. Around that time. I bet you he just has to give this 6 months to breathe and do its sales. Once it's on a trajectory, it's not going to stop. These are going to still continue doing numbers. Drake shut down, like it was just too much for the servers on Spotify and Apple last night. Now he's up for contract negotiations, so it's like, what now? Look at Drake becomes the first artist ever to have 17 albums charting at the same time. Like, nobody thinks this is amazing. Like yeah, screw Drake. Listen, you gotta just recognize. Like Ross could never do this. Listen, I know you love Kendrick. This has nothing to do with Kendrick being a good artist. He doesn't release this much music to do this. He's different. He's a different artist. This is crazy. This is insane. Like the output, the workhorse behind this is insane. Khaled and all them. Khaled was happy using Drake as much as he could, and he should have did whatever Drake wanted. He tried for a couple years when he needed Drake. Like he doesn't like. There's a reason why he didn't get involved in the Kendrick thing, and it's because Khaled is all about self-preservation. He can't recognize that. Damn, Drake did, kind of like carry me for those years. So Khaled releases his music through UMG now. If he makes them mad, it's over. They're not releasing any budget. I think they're already going to drop Khaled, to be honest with you. His last 4 releases have been trash, meaning trash stream-wise. This one with Lil Baby and Future just isn't moving. Future and I don't know. Look, he has all these going right now. Now, let's break down some stuff here. Guess who did more interviews? Rick Ross. He did more interviews, believe it or not. Look at this. This is hilarious to me. They tried to post this as an accolade. Number 1. Smoking Part 2. French Montana, Max B, and Rick Ross. But look at the list they picked. New York. Nobody's dropping any music in New York. Of course you're going to be number one for hip-hop. What are you talking about? Top songs New York City this week. Nobody's dropping any song. You have no competition. Of course you're going to be number one. People pick the list they want, right? What matters is Hot 100 in the world or in the country. So that's funny. Drake spent tons of money on this, on just marketing. It says freezing the CN Tower. I don't know if these are accurate money amounts. Like freezing the CN Tower, landmark access, projection, video effects, drones, permissions, night crew. 150,000 seems like a lot to me. I could see like 50,000 for that. North York explosion. That was probably about $100,000 for sure. I don't think it was 300,000. Probably 150 because the insurance alone was probably like 25 grand. Then we got all Iceman live streams. $1 million. Possibly. He did do some like big stuff. Like there's been 3 or 4 of these streams. And this movie thing took a lot. $1 million though? It's possible, I guess. It's possible. Let's just say that's possible. Giant ice block, 300,000. I guess that's pretty possible because like ice is not cheap. Let's be real. Then we got, I could see 500,000 for this. Oh yeah, that was a big that was a huge fireworks show. That was bigger than like New York City on New Year's. That was big. Now Drake has to put Fat Joe on this list. Jadakiss was quiet during this, but Fat Joe had Ross up there, and he's like, "Yo, why are you mad at Drake?" And he says, "Because he mentioned me." And he was like, "Yeah, because I was confused." So you're not talking about him mentioning you on push-ups or anything. You're talking about him mentioning you behind the scenes because Fat Joe wouldn't be so confused. Because we all heard push-ups and all those songs. Rick Ross again is making up why he's mad at somebody. Remember with 50 Cent? I didn't like the way he looked at me at an award show. That was the lamest excuse ever. Why are you mad at Birdman? I don't like the way he's treating Lil Wayne and Khaled. Well, go have a talk with him. You're friends with him, right? I'd rather diss him. And then you have all these harbored feelings for how he treated BG in the past and this person. Well, you didn't like him from the beginning then. When people are at odds with each other and the things they say, that's how they felt about you all along. Ross is an industry, obviously he's an industry person because he plays a role of Rick Ross. That's not even his name. That's a real drug dealer's name, right? That's not his name. That's not his life that he's talking about. He's talking about a different person's life. He's a CEO officer, man, that envied the streets. And now he has enough money to emulate the streets. Kiss is like quiet during this. He's like, don't get me involved in this. Yo, this is Dylan Brooks. I didn't, someone broke this down. So he's friends with Drake. He dressed as Drake. He even had braids in his hair. And sat courtside when LeBron got swept in the playoffs and laughed. You can't make this up. This is like a long play. This is diabolical of Drake. It's diabolical. Los Polos goes off on Elliott Wilson for hating on Drake. He says, "Go to bed, old man," because Elliott Wilson was like, "How about you just give us one good album?" Elliott, it should have just stopped. Elliott's not concerned about being in the public anymore, I see too. I know he had surgery. I don't mind Elliott Wilson, okay? Elliott Wilson's been around forever, all right? I feel like he did get caught up in chasing fame and this and that. Bro, he did a lot of stuff, man, The title move, I think that finished him. Because Jay-Z gave up on Tidal and just sold it for pennies on the dollar to Block so he could be part of their board. J. Cole was dissed bad on He was just bad on Make 'Em Pay. Because it was just like, yo, I can never forgive you. Like, you totally went against me. You totally were all in this beef, drumming it up. You dropped the song, then you waved the white flag. But the thing why Drake can't forgive him is because Drake called him to talk to him, and J. Cole wouldn't call him back because he was so ashamed. And so, because J. Cole was talking spicy up into that Kendrick thing. Big three, nobody can mess with me, blah, blah, blah. And guess what? J. Cole waved that white flag and was like, I really miss Kendrick as my friend. This is not me. But then why were you talking so spicy for 5 years prior, saying I'm the best, nobody can challenge me, it's me, it's like, dude. And then when you're called out, you cower. So you could never be, you're a great artist, you never can be considered the best, Fight, bro. Fight. And he dropped a decent album recently, But then he did all these interviews, like talking about, and it's like they were so soft. Him and Jay-Z hate each other. I mean, let's just keep it real, So a lot's been going on there. Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow on Drake using her office. Obviously, it was orchestrated. Drake puts on for his city. He's not like a Khaled who runs to LA and then goes back to Miami and this. And like, where's Khaled really even from? It's like Rick Ross reps for Miami. I'll give him that. Like, I don't know. Some people just run away and don't rep their city anymore, It's like they're ashamed. Rick Ross says Drake is in the past. He says Meek Mill's his brother. Meek Mill and Rick Ross hate each other. Meek Mill's called out Rick Ross multiple times for stealing from him. They did an album on Gamma. It sold 30,000 the first week. They had a couple good songs on there. And they didn't mess with each other after that. Why? Because that was just for some money. And it was some part of some deal where Rick Ross took over Meek Mill's house in Atlanta too, because Meek Mill couldn't sell it. And he exposed him for that. If anyone else needs their house bought, just let me know. I'm not dissing Meek though. You dissed him, bro. You guys aren't tight like that. Like Rick Ross tries to play like that's my brother. You guys aren't brothers. In fact, you leased his catalog to get money, the MMG catalog. Because Meek Mill would have been sold his catalog if he could. He says, Future's his close homie. Drake's in the past. Bro, to keep talking... I don't get this tour that Rick Ross is on to talk about Drake. He scheduled like 40 interviews a week before Drake dropped Iceman. It's pathetic, bro. Like, bro, are you really rich? Or are you chasing bills? And then people say, what does the interview have to do with him being rich? Because he needs the attention. He needs to keep selling Bel Air. He needs to keep these real estate deals going. But he needs these extra deals. Like, he seems desperate to me. Car show. He's you want to buy a 15 by 15 plot on my land for the car show? You can sell your hot dogs. It's like, it's being a businessman, but it also seems desperate as hell. Travis Scott got dissed, as he should, because he loved the song dissing Drake, unlike that. Begged Metro for it. Begged them for it. I don't know, man. Drake, this is on Make Them Pay. He says, I'm trying to catch one of you boys stargazing in the field like little leaguers. Let's see. Yeah, he couldn't wait. He really wanted to hear that Future song with... He knew that Kendrick was dissing him. He mentioned it. He said, someone's dissing somebody on here. It's like, okay. Okay, so let's revisit this Khaled thing where he's walking a horse in here because he got dissed. He said, basically, Khaled doesn't stand for anything. He used Drake. He won't even say free Palestine. Drake, and he was quiet during the Drake beef. No support, right? And he quotes Sizzla. Yes, everyone was like, he's quoting Sizzla, Demo Wonder. Duh, it says it right here. But everyone was like, I know that. What's really funny about this? Sizzla hates DJ Khaled. He burned the plaques of DJ Khaled. Why are you quoting Sizzla? Because it fits perfectly with how he feels about Drake. Let God rise and all his enemies scatter. First of all, Drake's not an enemy of God. No man to bother than Jah, and we run Jah crew. Uno come, uno two. They stand against you and hating me. Them just can't go through them heart, not clean nor free. I remind them so much of who they supposed to be. Khaled, stop. I am royalty. Them lost them identity. Khaled, you don't even know who you are, bro. You have to have cars. You have to have things to identify as something. Otherwise, you're nobody. You don't really make the records you're on. You won the lottery, bro. You're a deal maker. That's what you are. You're a deal maker. Get on this track, do this. I'll have this person do it. You put it together. You sell a song. You dance like a fool in your backyard. You film yourself with your wife on vacation, slamming her in the bed. Poor woman. Yeah. Khaled is the worst, bro. Like, he doesn't stand for anything. And I saw Charlamagne. Well, what does Drake stand for? He stands for Canada. What are you talking about? Puts Canada on his back, bro. He stands for his friends. Khaled does not stand for anybody. In fact, Drake helps people. Khaled doesn't help anybody. Stop. All right, so and Sizzla's probably like, why is he using my song? Now people are really decoding Drake saying, Habit, Iceman, maid of honor, him. I don't think that, like they over decode these things. Drake has 60 songs charting on US Apple Music. That now, when you look into this book, it's Iceman. It's on the countdown to Iceman. These are obviously the chains he handed out. He gave one to Shane Gillis. He gave one to Academics. And somebody else got a chain. Brendan Dunn, maybe. I don't know. I don't know why Brendan Dunn got a chain anyways. He's only been around for, 2 years? Anyways. He puts the photo book up of, behind the scenes. Then he has this woman in a bride's dress and then one with her holding a gun to her head. And that's alluding to Dre. And then Dre's the next person in the book. And it's obviously from the song Dust, right? Where he talks about take the AK out of my name, you get Dre. You'd be in the, if I use the AK, take the AK out of my name, you get Dre. He talks about holding a gun to a bride. He's talking about Dre with his ex-wife, where she alleged that he held a gun to her head. And also he kind of alludes to the fact that he messed with Michelle when she was underage in that song. So it's all, if you really want to decode it, look at this book. Drake got like real artsy, puzzly on this one, where he released a book and you match the book with the album and it says things, and, even in the Dre thing it says, remember you are dust. Then he has, I don't know what this has to do with. I know this is The Sopranos, and it could be alluding to a lot of things. I'm sure somebody will decode this stuff. Boosie claims Drake is This guy Drake is out his mind. I stopped at the gas station this morning. Whole gas station playing Drake. Walked to the barbershop. Everybody playing it. My guys run to the phones as soon as they walk to prison. I felt that. Boosie's feeling it. Drake samples Trinidadian singer Denise Belfon's iconic anthem "Work" on the new album. Gordo had something to do with that song for sure. It's called BBW. And that's about it, man. We're going to get to some other news in a minute because I can't. Unless Rick Ross does some dumb stuff more. You know, he is obsessed with this all day. So Rick Ross is trying to sell his next album, which comes out in a few weeks. But yeah, that's it, man. This is Jordan Tower with JT News. Let me know how you guys like Iceman. Listen, you got to respect it, bro. Big moves are being made, you know, and hip hop needs to be it needs some life in it right now. Let's just say that. All right. We can all relate to helping people and having people turn their backs on you. And that's what happened in the situation. It wasn't that Drake did people dirty. He helped everybody make a ton of money. So I don't know what the hell Rick Ross and Khaled and all these people were complaining about. Khaled should have said in the next post, he should have just took a picture of himself and said, "If I ever did anything to offend you, I'm sorry, my brother." You know, that's all he had to say, right? But no, he posts himself on a horse and said that everyone wants to be him and no weapon formed against me. And, you know, it's all this stuff. It's like, come on, stop. Rick Ross should have fell back too, but he's not going to. This is Jordan Tower with JT News. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. I'll check you guys in the next one. Peace.